Maritime Made on Eastlink TV is presented in partnership with Nova Scotia Business Inc. NovaScotiaBusiness.com.
Making a delicious meal is an art in itself. At Scanway Catering and Bakery in Halifax, Nova Scotia, they prepare gorgeous meals, and it's quite a process. The chef is preparing a sous vide beef tenderloin with pea risotto, wild mushroom ragu, and vegetables. Sous vide cooking is done in a water bath. The benefit of sous vide cooking is perfectly cooked food every time. Meat, fish, veggies, almost anything can be cooked sous vide. To begin, the chef seasons room temperature beef tenderloin with salt and pepper on both sides. Then the garlic is crushed. The meat, garlic, and rosemary are placed in a bag and topped off with a bit of oil. The oil will help the flavors permeate the meat. The bag is then vacuum sealed in preparation for sous vide cooking. Once sealed, the bag is placed in the preheated water. This water temperature is exact to cook the tenderloin to medium rare. After 2 hours, the chef removes the tenderloin from the sous vide and out of the bag. The beef is then patted dry.
Butter and garlic are added to a hot pan. And in goes the tenderloin, to be seared to a crisp finish. Now, it's perfect. The pea risotto starts with a hot pan and raw arborio rice. The rice is allowed to toast to release the flavor. Then white wine is added. Then chicken stock. The chef keeps stirring to release the flavors and seasons with salt and pepper. Risotto is cooked slowly while adding small amounts of chicken stock throughout the cooking process. Now it is time to add the peas to the pan, and the simmering continues until the risotto reaches the right consistency. The mushroom ragu is made using Maritime gourmet mushrooms. These oyster mushrooms are locally foraged and grown and are extremely fresh. The chef roughly slices a variety of mushrooms, then adds butter, oil, and garlic to a warm pan. The mushrooms are added next and begin to saute. A demi-glaze is added for further flavor, and of course, a splash of white wine. This simmers together until they start to caramelize to perfection.
To prepare the vegetables, the chef places butter in a hot pan and adds beets, a sprinkle of chopped rosemary, and then the carrots. A splash of wine rounds out the flavors. Then the tender asparagus is added last. The veggies saute until they begin to caramelize. A chef's artfulness comes to life on the plate. To begin the plating of this fine dish, he places a spoonful of demi-glaze on the plate and splashes it. The pea risotto is carefully formed, and the beef tenderloin is placed on top. Now for the veggies. The chef places them individually, creating a beautifully laid out plate. The mushroom ragu is the perfect flavor complement for this dish. Finally, the plate is garnished beautifully, first with carrot gel, then with garlic aioli. Finishing touches are tiny yellow oyster mushrooms and red pepper curls. No fine meal is complete without a beautiful dessert, and Scanway certainly has the know-how to make that happen.
Here, the chef is plating butterscotch, caramel, and raspberry macaroons. Chocolate is first brushed onto the plate. The macaroons and a delicate cookie are carefully placed on the plate. Homemade ice cream tops the cookie, and fresh berries are added. Dots of white chocolate help highlight the colors on the plate, and a chocolate wafer tops it all off. Fine dining is a beautiful thing, but sometimes all you need is a perfect snack to enjoy with your morning coffee. Scanway's many bakery items have you covered. Scanway's famously creative donuts are a perfect coffee snack. To begin making the donuts, the pastry chef pours yeast, sugar, and room temperature milk in the mixer where it will sit while the yeast activates. Once the yeast has activated or bloomed, the flour is added to the mixer, then the sugar and the salt. The vanilla is added next. And finally, small pieces of cold butter are added gradually while the mixer does its work.
The chef keeps an eye over the mixer. It's ready when the dough comes away from the sides of the bowl. The chef sprays a fine mist of canola oil into a clean bowl, and the dough is gently transferred out of the mixer and into the bowl. The oil ensures it doesn't stick to the sides. Now the dough is covered and refrigerated. It will rise in the fridge for 24 hours. The pastry chef prepares the surface with flour. The dough has been proofed, which means it has fully risen and is ready to be rolled and cut. Using a traditional rolling pin, the chef works the dough until it's the correct thickness for the dough sheeter. The dough moves through the sheeter about 5 times until it reaches the desired thickness. The sheeter ensures an even dough for even cooking later. The controls on the sheeter are gradually lowered to make the dough thinner each time it passes through. Next, the pastry chef cuts perfect shapes by hand. At this stage, the dough is still quite cold, making the cutting easier. The donuts are carefully placed on a parchment-covered tray, where they will rest and come to room temperature before being placed in the fryer. Once the dough is warmed up, the donuts are ready to go into the fryer. The oil is heated to 330 degrees, and the donuts are gently placed in the oil to begin frying.
It's a quick process. The pastry chef is watching for the donuts to turn slightly golden, then flips them over to cook a little longer. The donuts are removed at precisely the right time and are placed on a tray. These donuts need to be decorated, but they must sit on the cooling racks for at least 30 minutes. Once it is time for decorating, the fondant is thinned down with simple syrup and then warmed. Each donut is hand-dipped in the fondant icing, then in sprinkles for a classic sprinkled donut. With a special connection to the bakery's well-known Princess Martha cake, the pastry chef is making Princess Martha-themed donuts, decorated with raspberry fondant and white chocolate. The fondant is warmed for easy dipping. The white chocolate is shaved to create delicate curls. Each donut is hand-dipped and topped with white chocolate curls.
Donuts are now the most popular pastry at the bakery. The flavors change daily. You may find flavors like cinnamon sugar, sprinkles, Princess Martha, maple bacon, or caramel Florentine. The Gupta family are Scanway's new owners, and as you can see, they have kept Halifax Scanway favorites right where you expect them.